Going?
I think we're live. Yeah.
Awesome. No clip.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said to this bloke, I said,
It's already better because the second half is already more pro. Although this sounds louder in my headphones.
Yeah, it's quite loud in my headphones.
So I'll just turn it down. So I basically ripped off the Purple Haze riff, I think, in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honest about my thievery. So Scott, would you like to introduce us to the second half of the podcast?
Hello, welcome back. Wave to the camera. Spot the difference to the studio.
Yeah,
Something's changed.
Yeah, we have cunningly, at huge expense of energy and time, moved something from the studio. And if anybody gets it right, I will donate £2.33 to the charity of your choice.
Yeah. All changes as well, not just the obvious one at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the hashtag spoiler. Yeah, because actually, I can see something else. Something illuminating has changed.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the lights are on.
Okay, well, £2.33 to you then, Scott.
I'm just
yeah.
getting excited. Pac-Man's on.
yeah, I know. What's really funny is from here, you know, like it just looks like he's looking at you, like he's kind of going like that. I recorded Anya here once, and I think she was doing vocals, and we sort of recorded her in the corner.
Yeah.
And I had to take a picture because honestly, like, it looked like he was just checking her out. He was going. So where did we leave it? We were talking about music, aging,
We
children.
didn't really talk about aging, though, did we?
No, yeah, we sort of. We went off. I've just suddenly realised that we want to point that toward. Oh, you whoops!
Oh, you've messed it right up.
I know. Point that bit towards your mooey.
Is that better?
There you go. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean it sounded fine anyway, but we want
radio voice.
We want the listener to have like a good,
the full experience.
To have a good experience. Yeah. I love that one listener. Hi, Mum. So, shall we discuss aging?
Yeah. Do you feel old?
I mean, I feel a bit bad that I mentioned my mum and we've just segued into older.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, Mum, that's not what I had in mind. But, I mean, I'll tell you what's weird, is it's kind of totally just like crept up on me. Like, as in, so I'm trying to multitask, and I sort of can, but the window isn't coming up. Oh well, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure the volume levels weren't really bad, but I think it's all fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So we need a tech guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll do a tech guy in the next one.
Part 2. Okay, mate. Awesome. He's committed to it now. Yeah. So it's just weird the way I think it sort of creeps up on you.
Yeah.
When I had my 40th birthday, it was one of those kind of things where, like, I hadn't even sort of realised, you know, that I was gonna be 40, like, if that makes sense. And you start kind of thinking about things, and I can imagine why people have these sort of like midlife crisis things. Is you know, because I sort of feel that I've essentially done things the way I wanted her to do them.
Yeah.
And there's a few things, you know, that I kind of wish maybe I'd sort of worked a bit harder on, or, you know, wish I'd kind of sold out, you know, like Wembley Arena or something.
Yeah.
But I've still sort of like done the things I wanted her to do, you know. So it's like, even if you feel kind of a bit bad about it, you can go, okay, well, I've still sort of done things my way.
Yeah. You are doing what you want. You're not.
I know.
You're not working in an office doing something you absolutely hate.
Yeah, well, I do remember. I did used to work for British Gas. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I've told you this story, but I just never went back.
Did you not?
Yeah. It was. I think we had a fire drill. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I went out for the fire drill, and I just thought, you know, I'm never going back again.
No.
Yeah. And I think there's a coat of mine like still left there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Whose is this?
Yeah. Who is it? Like, do you remember that game? Like, guess who? Who is he? The cheap version.
Legally different.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Who is this? Yeah. And the bit that got me was there was people stood in front of exits doing this, you know, so like you couldn't go sort of down a route.
Yeah.
But then there's like a clearly marked like fire exit.
Yeah.
Yet, obviously some people were so stupid, kind of, like they wouldn't go that way,
Mm-hmm.
and would sort of maybe try to walk. So they actually had to employ people to kind of stand there to stop people.
Yeah.
And I just felt like cattle. Like, and I thought to myself, I just cannot do this anymore. So that was kind of a good experience in a way, I think, because then it kind of makes you think, okay, because there are some days with teaching kids, like when it can feel really frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when you've done jobs, I mean, I worked at Applemore Recreation Centre, where I was cleaning up like Band-Aids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was one time where there was a rugby club and they'd had a match and they basically, they kind of wiped excrement like on the wall, and I had to clean that off.
Yeah.
And that was for minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've done jobs like that, like it kind of makes, even if it's a bit of a stressful job at times, you think, okay, well, it's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a rewarding job as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 But you're also doing this studio stuff for people who are listening, recording musicians, recording your own music.
Well, that's sort of like not enough as
Yeah.
as I should,
Yeah, you need to put a deadline on that.
Yeah.
Can I give you one?
Yeah, okay, go for it.
September.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you meant a deadline.
September.
Okay.
Get it finished. Book a gig.
I reckon September's too far in the future.
Okay.
I reckon you need to make it closer, and I'll do it.
July?
Okay. I'll take July.
Yeah, do July.
Yeah, so I reckon maybe last weekend of the term.
Yeah.
So it's like, probably have like a stressful term, and then the last weekend of it.
We'll get the EP finished.
Gig. Yeah.
And gig.
The only thing with that is I've been listening to a guy called Damien Keys. Have you seen him on Facebook a lot? He's seems to kind of crop up.
It's a name I've heard of, but I couldn't tell you what he does or what.
He's like a band mentor.
Right.
And he was saying that actually probably the best thing is to release singles and just do sort of a lot of them, and then when you've maybe kind of released 5 singles, then put them on an EP.
Well, that's the old school way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The really 1950s.
Yeah.
You release 10 singles and suddenly a collection of songs becomes an album.
Yeah. And I think kind of like that's his advice, which is weird, because it's obviously sort of become like cyclical,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, but I think it's like a good idea actually thinking about it.
Well, loads of people doing it now because it's so easy to record stuff.
So maybe like a good, a good plan would be a sort of closer date to have a single done,
Yeah, why not?
and then maybe have a video, because I've never made a video. You see?
Yeah. Should we make a video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love doing music videos.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's all done. Okay.
We'll make a video.
Let's do it now.
Yeah.
We could just sort of time lapse this.
Yeah. Get a guitar and just...
Yeah. Because actually thinking about it, some of the characters that you photograph.
Yep.
So I've always really loved the ones you do with Joe Black.
Yeah.
I've always loved those. They're just so sort of the combination of you two guys, I think really works.
We do work well together.
Yeah.
And so much so, if we do a shoot, we can't get it done in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because Joe normally has one plan in mind.
Yeah.
One particular look. And he normally has a reason for a shoot. And literally, everything falls into place really quick. And yeah, they're always different. Always good fun.
Because there was a few that you did. There was one ages ago, and I can't sort of remember exactly what it was, but it was almost more a sort of behind the scenes one. I think maybe it was just in the street, or he was in a box office, or there was something about it.
I've done a few. One of the early shoots I did with him he was in the box office for King's Theatre.
Yes, that was probably it then.
That was probably
really
about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, I really liked that one.
Yeah.
And I've liked, I've liked all of the ones that you've done with him, but I think kind of what I liked about that one was it was something that you sort of think, okay, well, I could maybe do something like that.
Yeah.
Because I sort of couldn't do the stuff that he does. But that one particularly, it was the kind of composition of the whole shot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that day we did that, we did probably a whole day's worth of photography, which is unusual for me and Joe, but I drove to Portsmouth, met him in the town centre.
Yeah.
And we walked around taking pictures. So we did some in the back streets behind the shops. Then we went to the pier, I think, and it lashed it down with rain.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Joe jumping in the air with an umbrella. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
That was a very early shot, but it was really popular.
Yeah, which is so good.
And then we went to the King's Theatre and did loads in there.
Mm. He's got skills, this man.
Yeah, was it with Joe last night?
Anything you want to tell us?
Yeah, he was performing in
Oh, okay.
Southampton at Stage Door.
Ah, okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah. He seems to be doing like really well, doesn't he?
yeah,
Like,
that was a really good gig last night as well.
Because I want to see him live. Like I haven't ever seen him live. I've only ever seen things that like people have post.
Yeah. Well,
I imagine like you almost have to.
How do
kind
you
of,
mean?
Like, see him live. You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh,
like, the
definitely.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because his performance on stage is very larger than life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's full on cabaret compere, singing, does mime, does every now and again he do performance to some other tracks and parodies of films and plays.
Yeah, because I remember when he had those pictures done now with Glenn Close.
Yes, yeah,
You know, that's probably like a dream come true, isn't it?
pretty much, yeah,
Yeah, it'd be like me meeting Rufus.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Really good show last night. The next one I think he's got is the King's Theatre show. It's the one I know of that's down this way.
When's that?
September, I think.
Okay, well, I'm going to book it up.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
We're good.
It's official.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got links for cheap tickets?
I don't know. We'll just message Joe on Facebook. Your friends, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, go please. Because we never met. It's just,
Have you not?
I just sort of appreciate him, like, from afar.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so why I kind of brought him up is actually the song that's probably closest to being finished is one that's called "Watching Me Burn,"
Okay.
and the song is sort of about Satan being thrown out of heaven,
Okay.
and in a way, kind of like, would a loving father really do that? Sort of, punish somebody like so severely for making a mistake.
Yeah.
But the song is, that's just kind of like a surface metaphor.
Mhm.
And it's kind of about really that, both young and old can sort of learn from each other,
Yeah.
and just because you're young, like you can't kind of think, that sort of you know everything, but also sort of just because you're older, like you can't.
Yeah.
And there's stuff for us to learn at all like stages.
Mhm.
But yeah, sort of because of like the surface idea of maybe not sort of like getting on with a father or, with family.
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be quite cool just to have sort of like a montage of people just say like being themselves and just sort of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like him obviously because like he's got his own thing going on, but say just some classy shots of say someone like him, kind of getting ready for a show,
Yeah.
and like maybe some people that are maybe more on the fringes, maybe sort of like drag artists or like transgender or something, just people that you could imagine might have had sort of like a job with their family,
Yeah.
rather than have kind of a narrative or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people that would assume that they've had a rough ride at some point,
Yeah.
just for being who they are,
Yeah.
what they want to do.
Yeah. And just essentially kind of celebrating, being yourself
Yeah. No, that sounds really cool.
and being fabulous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've run out of coffee. That's rubbish.
Which is the opposite of fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes, I ran out of mine ages ago.
Yeah, I know. It's a massive gap, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's hashtag spoiler, but we're kind of lucky we didn't sort of do our backs in lifting out like a huge subwoofer.
It's a bit of a beast, isn't it?
So
We're not 100% sure why it needed to come out either.
I think it's getting glued.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I'm sure kind of Ollie has his reasons, but yeah, like I think there's something's loose in it.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be glued.
Right.
So
It's probably the table now after it coming out.
yeah, exactly. It's our backs. They've given
Yeah.
up on sort of disc surgery.
Yeah.
Super glue. So should we tackle the age thing? Or
Can do. I don't feel old, so I'm not really worried about it.
yeah, it's
I think people make themselves old.
yeah.
I know people who think
I agree.
they're in their 30s and they look like 50-year-old sort of
Yeah,
person that's sort of given up on life, and think, well, you don't have to be.
yeah. And there's some people that even are about 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I've had, so if I have a student that's maybe like a year, say like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And and their parents maybe kind of like mid-20s, and they'll, will say stuff like, well, I always wanted Dad to play the guitar, but, it's like too late for me now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you're like 25.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to have that attitude.
Mm.
And I think kind of a lot of people in life almost feel that, like, so, I said earlier on kind of about the kid bit.
Yeah.
People sort of see that as the main bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you then kind of extend that to, say, end of school or maybe end of uni,
Yeah.
people see that as, as kind of the bit of life. And then sort of the rest is just kind of trundled to the grave.
Yeah.
But it's for most people, like, it's sort of the biggest part of their life.
Yeah.
From, say, 20 to 80.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you look after yourself, there's no reason why you can't be super active at 80.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see people like Patrick Stewart. He's mid 70s, is he now?
I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Like, he's just
It's difficult to tell his
incredibly
age,
in
isn't he? He hasn't
Yeah.
really changed.
shape. I know, yeah, but he just kind of incredibly in shape.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson, I think, is another one.
Yeah, he's quite old, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's just kind of energy and just feeling sort of like vibrant.
Yeah.
Which is why I like that guy Colin, that I was on about in Oddcast #1.
Yeah. That's quite a cool name, isn't it?
Yeah, Oddcast.
Yeah.
Should have called it that. Yeah.
Well, you've got this discussion, which is unbelievable. It's not been snapped up.
I know, exactly. I think kind of what we need to do though, is we need to sort of like Facebook claim that name.
Yeah. Oddcast is ours. Put it out there now.
Yeah, just don't go near it, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like an offshoot one.
Yeah, me and you.
Yes, we have sort of a Discuss podcast is for, I don't know, just for, for minutiae and bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Oddcast could be something specific.
Could do.
Yeah. What could it be about? Fly fishing with J.R. Hartley.
Fishing.
Cultural
Can't
references.
think of anything
above
worth
sort of-
fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some pastimes that you do think, really?
Yeah. My dad used to go fishing.
We've got that famous story, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm not telling that one.
No. Do you want these fish? Well, I heard on Friday night, I won't say who it was, it's one of the schools I work at, and they get, every now and again, there's kind of quite a lot of traveller families there that come through, okay? And apparently, like, this lad came in, he's like, all right, miss, I know what you like, I've got some chawed trout if you want some. Some chawed trout. And there's one lad that was like an Irish lad. He was a traveller as well, and he was being like told off by the head. Okay?
Yeah.
And most kids, when the head tells you off, you're like, okay, I better not now. And apparently he just kind of went, I couldn't give a feck, you titty tart. I mean,
there's not what else you can do about that either.
yeah,
is there?
exactly. It's like, like, fair play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I won't share the whole story because I think I have shared this on another podcast actually. But there was a kid in a school when I had classes, and I kind of went off on this sort of like speech, for about 5 minutes. He just got up at the end and he went, "Great speech, sir. Really got me." And I just thought it was amazing. Which is why I can't do classes yet, because I'm sort of on their side a little bit. Yeah, I'm almost like, why don't you have a wet weekends like him? You should all be singing me. Come on.
That is quite cool, isn't it? Because it's kind of it shows a bit of personality. And
Yeah, and you don't know like if that kid is going to be like a stand-up or something in future. And I would hate to be the one, that's sort of quashing that.
Yeah, you don't want to stifle that.
No, I'm all about the characters.
Trying to think of the word. Enthusiasm, I suppose.
Yeah, because what can be hard is like you do actually have to maintain control.
Yeah.
When you have a class full of kids, and you kind of have to be like a bit like that.
Yeah.
But then there are some that you really sort of identify with, and you kind of see yourself maybe like at their age, or there's some that are like cheeky, and you just can't help but like them.
Yeah.
And you just kind of think to yourself, well, yeah, as you say, I sort of don't want to be the one that sort of quashes that, because like they could be, I don't know, like a writer or like a musician or like a comedian.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there's some that are just annoying. And I'm putting that out there now.
It's just an annoying, jumped up prick.
Got to swear. Sorry, Flo.
It's right, we're not live, so it's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I can beep that out.
She doesn't have a podcast account, so it's all right.
Because it is actually on iTunes now.
Yeah, I know. I've subscribed.
Have you?
Yeah,
oh, mate.
It's on the list.
You'll be on there next.
I'll have a little show you that.
I believe you. Like, you don't have to prove it.
Yeah, you're up there with some high flyers.
Feel honoured.
I was down the list a bit because you didn't put one out for a while.
I'm up there with the high flyers. Page 7.
Oh yeah, you're top of the list.
Oh, mate.
You're above That's Not Metal, Edith Bowman, and Hardcore Listings with Chris and Stu.
Yes.
You'll like that one.
Okay.
It's they do top 5.
Is it as good as Oddcast?
Probably not.
We should sort of come up, with like a little sort of gimmick or like a quirk for the podcast.
Okay.
What could it be? Like a top 5 or something.
No, we can't do that one because that's Chris and Stu's one. We just got...
Yeah, we could do a different type of 5, though. I mean, kind of like a top 5 of minutiae.
Yeah, but what's that?
What shoe size have you got? Or
right.
The circumference of your neck is.
We can only do one of those.
Okay. We could do them both.
Oh, 2 then. It's top 2. Who's got the thicker neck?
Probably not me.
I don't know. 50 and a half.
Just sort of think of like 5 things, or even 3 things that people don't like normally share. When I do the so far things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I've noticed is when you're interviewing artists, kind of certainly like younger ones, they almost have like a game face on.
Yeah.
Where they kind of know how to answer a question.
Yeah.
And they've kind of thought about it.
Also media trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think sort of the best one so far was when I asked them about their childhood toy.
Right.
And it was so interesting to see people just change, honestly, And again, I mean, that's kind of why I like sort of this whole idea of videoing it as well. Because, I almost kind of wanted people to see that change from this kind of slick answering things and then just, almost being kind of...
So drop in the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
was
really
it a favourite childhood toy?
Yeah.
What was yours?
Mine was Boo Boo. Okay, do you remember Boo Boo? It's like a grey bear.
I can't remember that. I remember the name. I can't remember what it looks like. You kept him
I remember the name.
hidden under the duvet.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if I should share this once, but there was one time when I was with Asher, and it's when I was living in Marchwood, and like I just found him like in the loft, I think.
Yeah.
And I was sort of drifting in and out of sleep, and then she kind of put him sort of behind me, said, like, I've been waiting for years for it to be okay to do this. It was so dark, it was hilarious. Yeah, so I don't have him around much anymore.
Time for him to go.
Yeah, exactly. He showed his true colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like him. Yeah, when your teddy bear is darker than you, it's time to get rid of him.
Boo Boo's a bad bear.
Yeah. But what was cool though is when I was doing that, the guy who actually founded So Far, a guy called Rafe, he was in the audience.
Yeah.
And he actually shared this amazing story about like he had a bear that it was from Germany, I think, and it kind of survived World War II and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this crazy little kind of like nugget, of information about people.
Yeah.
Who was your childhood toy?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I had like a favourite. Probably things like Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
Mainly because we didn't get loads of it.
Mm.
Sort
I
of
thought you were just saying it's because you're like an egalitarian toy lover.
No, because I think everyone wanted Star Wars toys when we were younger, and I think I ended up with about 5 figures and a prized Walker.
Yeah.
That eventually his leg broke, so I
you
wore
wore
out.
Walk it like that.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a lesson in that, that if you have too much stuff, like you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, and like because when we were Star Wars was massive, everyone like would bring like 40 figures to school.
Yeah.
And I'd have this one that I turned up with that's the only one I had, and so yeah, probably that's that thing. Or Lego.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just because
Lego's
Legos,
amazing.
because you just play with it for years.
Yeah. Have you still got the Star Wars?
No, I don't know what happened to him. I'm sure it was somewhere at my mum's house.
That'd be amazing. I think you should find him.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the Walker.
Just hope he doesn't turn out to be like loose cannon like Boo Boo.
Yeah. The Walker went in the bin because his leg fell off.
I had the AT-AT. Like, do you remember the AT-AT?
Yeah.
And my mum like gave that away.
Yeah, that's.
And actually, someone said like they're quite like a rarity.
All of the old stuff's rare now.
So thanks, Mum.
Because a lot of it got broken.
Yeah.
Because it got played with.
Mm.
So finding complete stuff. You had a Falcon as well, didn't you?
I think the Millennium Falcon was Richard's.
Right.
And the ATAT, was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I mean, at the time, I think I was probably jealous of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Because it's like the baddie of the ATAT, isn't it?
Yeah. But also, the
But
ATAT's really hard to play with, isn't it? 'Cause you're just moving his legs.
yes, it's brilliant. It takes
Just
4
gotta pick it
hours to
up.
move it anywhere. It's like a dog.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
didn't-
much. Yeah, it's like the worst sort of
toy. Yeah.
combat vehicle anyway, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Here's a good idea. It's like a massive dog.
This really top heavy.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's really easy to trip up.
Cunning. You could imagine that like in a real war.
Yeah.
I was sort of strategist going, okay, so we need something like aerodynamic, something that can easily creep under the radar. Sod that.
Yeah.
Just make a dog.
Massive dog. 'Cause it looks like a Rottweiler, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like a
With
really
twiddly little twiglet legs.
Yeah. It's like a greyhound crossed with a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Interesting breed. Yeah.
Sort of the good and bad of Star Wars. It looks cool, slightly rubbish at the same time.
Yeah.
And
It's
name-
basically like the original Star Wars summed up
Yeah.
in a concise sentence, I think, Scott.
Yeah. And the other thing with Star Wars that annoys me, other than loving it, is is things that they name stuff. Death Star's a rubbish name, isn't it?
Yeah. No thought
Yeah.
involved in that.
What does
The
it do?
Death Star.
Death. Does it look like a star? Kind of. There's the one in the new one in Force Awakens. The moon is pretty much a Death Star.
Yeah.
So Killer
Yeah.
Starbase or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, who thought of
Killer
that?
Starbase
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Like the same people that came up with Frosty's tagline.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, it's
like-
well thought out.
They spent so much money sort of rejuvenating Star Wars
Yeah.
and sort of making it feel real and not CGI and sort of made it cool again.
Yeah.
And then stuck in the last minute killer base or
What do
whatever
we
it is.
call it? But maybe that's kind of like a nod, like to that.
Maybe,
to that kind
but
of,
I thought it kind of spoiled it a little bit because
Yeah.
you're going through it and you go, yes, they've got it right, and then
because I already had the film like spoiled for me, like as I explained when we were moving out the speaker.
yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and-
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, like I have to be honest with you, because I knew that was going to happen. Like, I just couldn't sort of immerse myself in the film.
I knew it was coming as well. Someone else shared it on Facebook, and I just happened to click on the link, and and that was 6 months before it came out.
Why do people like enjoy doing that? Like some weird thing, like in the psyche, like to go right. I'm going to enjoy ruining this for
Yeah.
people.
Don't know. Well, I didn't avoid the trailers. I kind of watched the trailers, got quite excited by it,
Yeah.
but they didn't really give a lot of the plot away, which is good. But yeah, I saw the spoiler.
Yeah.
That was spoiled for you,
Yeah. We won't ruin it for everybody else.
just in case.
I was listening, but I've just realised I haven't got the console up. So just give me a second. There might be a split second where.
Was it probably on the screen? It was disconnected earlier.
Hello, are we talking? There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I just realised we're talking for an hour. It's not recorded.
No, that has. I just sort of noticed it wasn't there. I just wanted to make sure that everything was good, and it is. Everything's golden, Scott.
Lovely.
So, that's that Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star Wars shattered. Yes. What did you make of The Force Awakens? Like, were you a fan or?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
I did.
it looked cool. The visual effects were nice, and it was kind of nice that it was real effects, not reliant on CGI.
Yeah.
And I like the colouring they've done for it. It's kind of made it quite vibrant.
Yeah. And actually, there was one scene in it, or maybe it was a couple. And I thought that J.J. Abrams had been really kind of sensitive about it, yeah, because like his whole thing, is sort of frenetic energy and sort of lens flares, and
Yeah.
that, isn't it? And there was one scene where you could really tell it was his kind of stamp on it.
Yeah.
So up until that point, it had been quite sort of tame.
Yeah,
And it, I think it was the scene near to the big spoiler.
yeah,
And there's a bit where sort of Darth Vader was kind of looking out on the innards of the kind of thing, and the camera sort of comes up kind of behind him, and there's like a lens flare.
yeah,
And I've always really, really enjoyed sort of directors, you know, again, like what I said with Rufus Wainwright, with people that have a really noticeable like character.
Yeah.
You know, it's a voice.
Mm.
And when you can see that voice in something,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, I really like that. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I do like what his take on sort of visuals is. I like it in Star Trek where when he went to town with the lens flares on that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he did make it look phenomenal and took away the cheese that's associated with Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I did think it was really clever when they got Simon Pegg in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because, I mean, he's almost sort of corner kind of the market of that sort of character that's almost like us, but in the film.
Yeah.
Like, if you see what I mean. You know, that makes it slightly, I don't know, I'm sort of breaking like the fourth wall, I guess you could say, or something.
Yeah,
know?
I guess so.
Yeah. I like that weird creature with the really funny face that's in the Star Trek films.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing that's his kind of like co-pilot or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. He's in Force Awakens as well.
Is he?
Simon Pegg, yeah. It was hard to spot him.
Who does he play?
He's
Is he Luke Skywalker's like real dad?
no, I think he's the guy who's a trader in the desert who they buy the food from.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's obviously made films over
Yeah.
over J.J. Abrams, and I think it was like a kind of it was like a favour sort of thing, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I need to be in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because actually, at the birthday party, did you meet a guy called Oscar?
Don't know.
Because one of Paddy's really, really good friends is Oscar Wright,
Right.
who's the brother of Edgar Wright.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that did Shaun of the Dead and all
Yeah.
those films, and I think Oscar like was involved in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a really nice guy actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what that song I was saying about like used your own bases for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's making like an indie film.
Yeah.
And there's an advert that's good, but it's on the TV playing. It's called Cocoa Bombs.
Yeah.
So we made a theme tune for it.
Yeah.
I say we, Paddy wrote it, and I just
You played it.
yeah. Well,
You played bits on it.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought about composing for film?
Man, I'd love to do it. You know, if any of my 20 likers,
Yeah.
has got a film they want.
But there's loads of independent films being made all the time, isn't there? That need soundtracks.
Well, I did one for Elkie. Like, did you ever see the one that's called Magique?
No, I
Yeah,
saw
so I
it.
did the soundtrack for that.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it was fascinating. Like, again, like what you were saying with photos, I actually had nothing to base it upon,
Yeah.
and I hadn't ever done it before. So I'm sure there's much easier ways of doing what I did.
Yeah.
But
Did
I
was going to say, did you write to the film or did you write the music independent?
sort of did slightly like a bit of both. So I kind of got an idea for the scene.
Yeah.
But what I found the hardest was kind of timing when it started and stopped.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was this huge sort of trial and error thing
Yeah.
of programming it kind of basically in like via MIDI, and then seeing if it fit,
Yeah.
and then if it didn't, say kind of making it sort of 91.738, and then putting it in, and it was slightly off, so 91.899 or something,
Right.
and then just trying to get it to fit.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's like a better way of
Oh, I see. Yeah. So you're sort
doing
of
it than that.
shortening the track in MIDI so
Yeah.
it doesn't distort and then
Yeah.
record on that line.
So I'd get like the tempo right,
Yeah.
that would fit, in that section,
Yeah.
and then I would sort of record it properly. So I would sort of put it out as like a MIDI template,
Yeah.
and I'd know that those, say 16 bars, I would
Yeah.
fit in like
Okay.
exactly.
So almost like a click track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it just took ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that probably like the best way is to either sort of like compose it like to it,
Yeah.
and then kind of play some of it live. Because there were bits, where like I had to do a sort of like a piano splash. And
Yeah.
It was just like, I just sampled that and then just kind of put it on.
Yeah.
And then though, when I finally mixed it all like down, the version that she sent me was in a different frame rate.
Right.
So I think she wanted it in a higher frame rate, so it had that sort of like jittery kind of like silent movie sort of feel.
Right. Okay.
So I'd done it all in 24 frames a second. She wanted it in 29 frames a second.
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
So you were out of sync again.
Yeah, so at the end, it had kind of gone out slightly.
Right.
And it was gutting because I'd spent ages,
Yeah.
making sure that every single change was like
Yeah, bang on the beat.
bang on the beat.
Yeah.
So it was just, and it was, it's not her like fault or anything. It's just one of those things, where a lack of experience, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe. It was syncing video and audio out was quite tricky anyway, isn't it? So I've
It
done
was
it
like with these.
Yeah, well, I've done it
Yeah.
the other way around, where I've had music and then you put the video to it,
Yeah.
getting the changes on the beat to kind of match the tempo on the song, and
Yeah.
that's a kind of a tricky. You can spend a lot of time doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you end up listening to that same tune hours and hours and hours.
Definitely.
So that's kind of interesting, but
Yeah, because again, you just sort of disappear like down a rabbit hole, don't you?
Yeah,
for
and
like
you
a
can
few
keep-
hours.
going for ages and ages and ages.
Yeah.
It's handy when we did Ed and Al's video.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to edit because it was two of us together, just going,
Yeah.
does that work? Does that not work?
Yeah.
And then you can just say no.
Exactly. As when you're on your own, it's like, I think that works.
Yeah,
Or you analyse it for ages and you kind of see it like the next day and think, oh, it's fine.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
spent 4 hours going, it's just not right.
yeah. So I did a video from a friend Georgia,
Yeah.
and there was quite a few different scenes that we overlapped, and it was like every time I would edit it, I'd call Gene over and say, "What do you think? Does it work?" And we went, no, that bit doesn't work. That's off the beat there. Can you move it
Yeah.
in a little bit? And just fresh eyes to stop you getting
Yeah.
stuck with what you thought was good or
Yeah.
not good. And
Well, I think that's really important, And like I was saying to you earlier on, I think I've kind of learned that sort of like fairly late in a way, like how important I think it is, like having other people involved.
yeah,
And, I think again, like it's that whole thing of, I often quite like people to see the finished thing
yeah,
and almost not what's gone on kind of behind it.
yeah,
Because somehow in your brain you sort of think it's going to sort of detract from people's enjoyment of it,
yeah,
but actually, often like people like to see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is sometimes you just need someone to go, you're stuck there,
Yeah.
get rid of that bit and put something else in, and then, oh,
Yeah.
so you've unlocked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sort your life out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that's
get
why-
your EP done.
Yeah, well, that's why when they make films, the director doesn't edit them.
Yeah.
They have a fresh pair of eyes on it.
Yeah.
It's not all done by one person because they can't do it.
Yeah.
They'll just muck it up.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably like been a problem with my music, is sort of producing it myself.
Yeah,
So I think what I'm going to do is do these singles.
Yep.
Then I'll do like another EP.
Yep.
And then I'm going to choose the ones that I think are my favourites from them, and some new ones,
mm-hmm.
and then just sort of go and actually I'll record an album.
Yeah,
When I just do it here, like, and ask Ollie, like, if he wants to do it,
yeah,
and then just get someone else to record it,
yeah,
so I can literally just turn up and play it
yeah,
and not have to worry about all the other stuff, because like it's so hard, I think.
yeah. Do you want to play all the stuff? That's the other thing.
I mean, it'd be nice to get in some like guests, I think, to like,
Yeah.
play some stuff, some of my students and things like that. And
Well, you can play all your own instruments for what
Yeah.
you need to do, but would you get in a better guitar player
right.
But,
no, so yeah.
to really shine? Does that make sense?
Someone that can,
play.
can play chords and nolos and notes and solos.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Would love someone like that.
but when you see most musicians that are songwriters, they might do part of the record,
Yeah.
and they'll get in the best of guitarists, bass players, drummers, whatever,
Yeah.
to make the best record.
Yeah.
They don't do. David Bowie didn't really record all his own stuff.
Yeah.
He got in a band.
Yeah. It's true. I think sort of like a balance. Like, I think that there's certain bits that when I've had people kind of play for me, like, they don't play with like the same intention.
Yeah,
So, for instance, I'm sure I could get some of my drum students, to kind of play, sort of the way that I kind of wanted it.
yeah.
and stuff.
But then I can imagine if it's drumming or piano,
Yeah.
that's the thing you'd probably want to do yourself, as they are your main.
My main things.
Yeah.
It's like, I think what it is, and I was saying this to I think it was Jeff, that you know, I'm just laughing at it because I keep on kind of like saying all these kind of random conversations that I have with other people, like people that, you know, anyone watching like, probably sort of like doesn't even know. So, you know, I'll stop doing that.
Yeah.
But that even though my music is kind of, say, like Coldplay or something,
Yeah.
I always think of it as, say, like Audio Slave, like covering like Coldplay songs.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a sort of rock-like sensibility to it,
Yeah.
even though it's like pop music.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think kind of probably Radiohead get kind of more than Coldplay, probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, like it's more that kind of thing, you know, where like I kind of want it to have a bit of like grit to it.
Yeah.
And often people that have like played for me have been quite safe in a way.
Yeah, I suppose, because you probably
Yeah.
end up getting lumped with acoustic
Yeah.
performers,
Yeah.
and you may want, say, a rock drummer to give it a bit of a push.
Yeah, because I think kind of like my music is probably more, it's more like a band, I think.
Yeah.
You know, when I see people that are just really strong, like singer-songwriters
Yeah.
on their own, and they've got, you know, really kind of intricate sort of like guitar picked bits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, mine is kind of definitely more of a synergy of all the bits.
Well, you do write as a band, don't you, almost?
Yeah.
You'll record bass, drums, guitars,
Yeah.
strings,
Yeah.
whereas a singer-songwriter might write solely on an acoustic guitar, and then a
And then
band
someone else fleshes it out.
fills in around them.
So maybe I should even, you know, form a band around it. But then, you know, you've got to go through all of that again.
Yeah, well, you don't
Like-
necessarily have to do that, but you might want to... Would you want to bring a bass player to
No.
give it a lift?
You watch this, my mum. Oh, no, it's not. It's Joe Brennan Jones. Should I answer it?
It's up to you.
No. Oh, actually, I will quickly.
Yeah.
Hello. We're still podcasting, and
Actually live.
yeah, you just kind of found your way onto it somehow, awkwardly. Yes. Yeah, so we had like the live one, like, and now we're doing like another bit to it. Yeah, and I'm going to go because, you know, yeah, I should definitely kind of cut this bit out. Right, see you later. Bye. Bye. Awkward.
That's the 3 hours and 17 minutes. That's the cut-out point.
Is that how long? Is it? God, we've been gassing, haven't we? Look at this.
You'll be editing that for weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, again, yeah, that's one of like the good things about just sort of doing something and then just putting it out.
Yeah.
Which is why, in a way, I want to kind of sync it all up live.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the Joe Rogan one again, is it's, you know, it's a real quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, you know, kind of having to edit it and then kind of put it all, you know, together and then, you know, kind of sync it up, edit it, you know, like put it on YouTube and stuff. You know, like if that was already done and it was like a live thing,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
They could kind of like go out there now.
Yeah.
It's that thing we were saying earlier on about just kind of being in the moment and not, you know, kind of overthinking it. And actually, like I think if all of us kind of like did that like a bit more, and maybe that's one of the good things over social media, like with more and more people doing, you know, say Facebook Live and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it's more raw and it's more kind of real.
Yeah.
And it's almost something, you know, like there's lots of stuff about our sort of current kind of climate, you know, that's not good. But I mean, I think it's amazing, really, that we can do this.
Mm.
You know, you can basically kind of, you know, broadcast, you know, like a radio or almost like a TV show kind of live.
Yeah.
With just a camera.
Exactly. You don't need anything, do you? You just get on and do it, which is really, really good.
Yeah. I think it's amazing, really, you know, what you can achieve in this sort of like day and age.
Mm.
You can either see that as a bad thing or like a really, you know, like cool thing.
I think the good thing about video is you can't hide behind, like, I started that badly, but like selfies
I'll edit that.
are really, can be really false,
Oh, mate, yeah.
and sort of people posting on Instagram sort of false visions of their lifestyle.
Yeah.
But in a video, you can't really do that,
No.
especially as sort of Facebook Live, unless you're videoing a selfie.
Yeah.
But there is no hiding in that video.
Well, you're really good at, some sort of like video editing on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're right. And I think kind of a lot of that is why like it took me so long to release my first EP, actually, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I sort of knew that how it sounded on record wasn't really indicative of how it sounded live. And I almost wanted her to wait, like until the point where I felt that it sounded live as it does on record, if that makes sense. So I wasn't hiding behind, say, auto-tune or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So
yeah, and even though like I use it sometimes still,
yeah,
because everybody does for harmonies and stuff normally, like you feel it's like it is indicative of kind of what you can do.
Yeah.
Was when I first started, I think like I'd do kind of one line at a time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, like that was what was annoying when my voice went. I said about like the guide vocal to Watching Me Burn.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of one run through, just so I could, kind of put everything else in.
Yeah.
And it was almost like to the point, where I sort of could have gone, oh, I'll just use that.
Yeah.
But there was a few bits, that were kind of off.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was what I'd always wanted.
Yeah.
And then kind of, I think it was about sort of 2 weeks after I did that, was when it all happened.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Wow.
Curses.
It's back on now, though.
It's back.
Yeah.
Woo!
So
I'm sorry. Have you got anything else you want to add? Like, should we wrap it up? Have you got anything you want to like talk about?
No, I think I've run out of things.
I think unfortunately what happened is because there was kind of gaps in the middle. Yeah, we should have sort of recorded all of it.
Yeah.
Even moving the speaker.
I know the computer had to go off there, didn't it?
That's true.
Yeah.
There's always, there's always other times. There's always Oddcast.
Yeah, we could do that again. We could.
Yeah.
A few weeks, do another one.
Shall we stick to a Discuss podcast or should we start Oddcast?
Well, Discuss one is yours, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do Oddcast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of love the way that I'm already running two podcasts. Yeah.
Running a.
If anyone else wants to do one.
Media empire.
Yeah. I'm like a nice Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
God, that's a weird description.
It's something you don't want to be called regardless, isn't it?
No. Yeah. Because the word nice at the beginning, I don't think, it's not enough, is it?
No.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Scott hugely for coming into the studio.
Very welcome.
And hopefully you'll be seeing more of him as he either texts or swoons in the background.
Cool, yeah. And then we'll do Oddcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Who do you think I should have as another guest? I think I want somebody female.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of asking someone like Helen Stevens, but I don't know her. But she wrote a really amazing blog about gender identity.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself that'd be a really cool thing to kind of question somebody about. But it's a bit of a weird thing to ask someone that you've never met. Hey, would you be up for this? So
don't know. Just ask. Worst they can say is not really.
Yeah. Piss off.
But yeah.
So if you know anyone, or if any of you guys want to be on it, and just kind of talk about stuff and brave the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, Scott. Well, thanks ever so much.
Very welcome, mate.
So a double fist.
This is wrong.
Whoops, okay.
Fist bump.
Edit. Yeah, what I was going to say, at the beginning of this podcast, is I have a habit of asking, kind of really personal questions or sort of oversharing,
Yeah.
And I was going to give you a safety word, which was pineapples. That was definitely a pineapples moment. Brilliant. Right then, bye-bye. Done.